Welcome to the Hadera-Iron Partnership Together podcast. Our partnership connects communities from the Hadera-Iron region in Israel with 9 Jewish communities across the southeastern United States and the Czech Republic, planting seeds of connection that grow into lasting, meaningful relationships. This episode is produced within the L2G Local to Global program, with guests sharing personal stories and experiences, celebrating our differences while exploring the unifying foundations that build family-like bonds.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Partnership Together Hadera-Iron podcast. My name is Maia Talmor. I'm from Hadera, and I was in the first cohort of the L2G program, and now I'm in the steering committee of the partnership.
Hello, my name is Karen Lieberman. I am from St. Petersburg, Florida, originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I was in Israel with the P2G partnership in January.
And I'm Nina Kaufman from the Charleston, South Carolina community, originally from New York City, and also with Karen on the Dig Deep delegation to Israel in January.
And I am Erica Aronson from Greensboro, North Carolina, originally from Augusta, Georgia. I was on the P2G mission trip. It was April 1st of 2024.
Today we're going to talk about the brave decision of Ufri to come and visit Israel in the hard time after October 7th. We would like to hear about your feeling, your decision to come here on those times, and your experience here visiting Israel and visiting our partnership specifically. What made you take this decision and what you took from it with you back?
I felt I wanted to come because I felt it was a really important time to support Israel. I wanted to come to bear witness to what had happened on October 7th. It was unfortunate to have to ride up the Gaza envelope and see sites like the Nova Music Festival and Kibbutz near Oz and some of the other sites that we had to go to. But I felt like it was very important to do that and to bring back stories and information to the people here in my community.
Karen, can you share with us what is your connection to the partnership? Did you know the partnership before coming to the trip?
I was not familiar with the partnership at all, although it turned out just before I came that I had a family connection to the Hadera region, which one of my cousins is now searching out. But I didn't know that until about 3 days before. I wanted to get more involved with Israel, looking for a way to do that. So I did it through the Jewish Federation, which then put me on the P2G partnership trip.
Did it change your view about Israel coming to this trip?
The trip changed me in a lot of ways. It made me feel that I had to come home and do more for Israel, whatever I could. I've written a few articles since I've been home, and I've spoken to a lot of groups. I just spoke last week with a group of women about my trip. I had written a report after we came home, and I got together with this group and went over the report with them and talked about the importance of getting more involved with Israel in whatever way they could, whether it's by, join Lev HaOlam or support Golani some way, or, send money to the Jewish Federation for assistance in whatever way was possible. But I didn't specifically ask for money, but I just made a lot of suggestions on things that people could do at the end of the report.
You want to share with us your connection to the Federation, if you have, and why come to this trip to Israel in this specific time?
Sure, happy to. So my husband and I moved to Charleston about 4 years ago from New York City, and we knew we wanted a different life on a lot of levels. But all of our family was in New York. I didn't know anyone in Charleston. I knew I was making changes to my business that were not going to take root in the same way in Charleston. So without all the business networking groups and entrepreneurship groups and the women's groups, it's like, who am I? Where do I connect? And that's where I came back to, well, I'm still Jewish. So immediately got connected with the Charleston Jewish Federation, because right on the website it says, Shalom, Charleston. And one contact led to another. And I was really welcomed into that community and into that environment of people. But when it comes to coming to Israel, that's where October 7th was a real wake-up call for me. There was a lot about being Jewish I took for granted, certainly pre-COVID, living in New York City, the land of the perfect bagel. And so now I had to ask, who am I going to be? What do I stand for? I had started taking conversational Hebrew lessons through an online ulpan. And because of my teacher, I really wanted to find a way to visit Israel. I mean, I was hearing stories from her about how isolated Israelis felt with everybody against them. And there they are mourning this. I mean, I don't even have the words, this outrageous, horrific violation. And so I wanted a way to go there to say, yes, I see you. She said, please come. We just need to know that people want to come. My husband is not Jewish. It was his very first time in Israel. It was my first time in about 20 years. Very guilty about that. And I wanted the safety of traveling in a group where I wasn't going to be lost, or, who knew what was going to be happening in terms of the security situation during that time. So that's where, bit by bit I was pestering the Charleston Jewish Federation, like, hey, when is there a mission and can we create our own? And finally, I found out about the Dig Deep delegation. I also love the fact that because my husband's not Jewish, he would be welcome in a way. I wanted a multi-religious, if you will, people on various parts of the Jewish observance spectrum, so that he would also feel very welcome to come to Israel.
We sat together to dinner when you came in.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. That was יפה מאוד.
Did you take something specific with you back? You wanted to come because you heard about everything that went on here, but something in after October 7th, that is.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say that going to Israel has really cemented my connection, because before, and growing up Reform and not having a very observant background, Israel was like one of the food items on the Jewish buffet. Like, do you keep kosher? Do you observe holidays? Do you support Israel? It was like, I choose this, I don't choose that. It's okay. But now for me, it's like Israel it's in my cells. It is a part of me. So I don't say, oh, do I choose to have an arm or a foot? There is no choice. It is part of me. It's my country. It's my family. It's my people. When they hurt, I hurt. And Israel is no longer that, oh yeah, that other place that I know I should support somewhere on the map. It is here in my heart as I walk around every day. So I started wearing the Magen David afterwards, just to say, you know what, I am standing forward. I am saying, yes, I am proudly Jewish, where I might have hidden that before. There was something so familiar about it. Being at my crazy extended family's bar mitzvahs, where Aunt Ruth is elbowing me on the way to the chopped chicken liver, it felt so familiar. And I realized then coming home, oh, it's here in the United States. So that was a really interesting realization. But in terms of next steps, certainly my own philanthropic focus has changed. There are a lot of organizations where I've said, sorry, not giving to you right now. Israel is my priority, because it became absolutely apparent to me that while Jews may give to everything around the world, it is only Jews, for the most part, who are giving to Jewish causes and to Israel. So that's where I want my focus to be. And I spoke at the Charleston Federation, had a women's philanthropy event in February, spoke at that. And I've again been pushing for, let's go back, because I'm also a travel junkie and I would love to go back. And my husband said he would come too, as long as we can build in a little more rest and relaxation, because it was a mission trip. He said, "You didn't warn me enough. You didn't tell me I didn't train for it properly." But we were so moved by the resilience and the strength and the camaraderie and the optimism, not only of the people that we met, but especially the young people that we met.
Amazing. Erica, you want to introduce yourself? Just say your connection to your community.
So I have been bringing the Israeli Scouts, the Tzofim Israeli Scouts Friendship Caravan, from Israel to the States since my oldest was 3, and she's going to be 22 next month. So over the years, you have 10 boys and girls and a boy and girl leader, but that adds up. You have kids come through, siblings come through, they come back as leaders, then the siblings come back as leaders. And every year they're like, "Erica, haven't you gone to Israel?" "No, I have not." "No, I have not." What do you mean? What do you mean? We have to get you there. And I never could go financially. And everyone knew here in Greensboro that that is my passion. Those are my kids. But Rabbi Eli Schneiderman said, "Hey, I have a cohort. I can get you to Israel." And I was like, okay, I want to go. And then it was early March when he said, "I have one at the end where you leave on March 31st, or maybe it was February, but March 31st, you arrive April 1st. And do you have anyone you want to go with? This is how much it is. It's not going to be that much." I told the scout families, I was like, "Hey, I'm finally coming. I'm finally coming to Israel. My dreams finally come true." That has been like the biggest thing. And then when I found out the price of the flight, I told them I couldn't come because of the price. It was like $1,900 compared to an $800. And within 2 hours, the Israeli Scout families in Israel raised enough funds for me to travel. They said, "No, you're coming." And I was like, "Oh my God, and then my husband lost his job. But I went. I have never traveled overseas. So that's the first time by myself. People say when you land in Israel, there's no words. I will agree. There's no words to express it. I felt at home. The P2G partnership, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say about that. The trip was amazing. Working with the youth village, learning how to pick papayas, playing with my little lamb. Ravit has one of her holding a brown one, but he was abandoned and I had to hold him like a baby. And he kissed me, and then I had to feed him like a baby, flip him like a baby, and fed him a bottle. Going to the Golani Air Force Brigade, bringing stuff from home. I made these little coasters because the scouts would always bring stuff from Israel to the host families. I gave the Golani Air Force Brigade a bunch of them.
I would really love to hear from Nina and from Karen about one thing that specific in our partnership stayed with you.
The one thing that has stuck with me, really struck my heart. We were at Kibbutz near Oz and standing outside of the Bibas family home. And there was a watercolor of Shiri and the 2 boys on the wall. It has stayed with me to the point that I had dreams about it. I dreamt as a really heartbreaking thing. And something that Nina said earlier, when we were with the B'tzavta teens, and they talked about their leadership, and they are the future leadership. So that was the joyous to me, and the other was the heartbreaking. Those are the 2 things that stick with me. They'll be with me forever.
Thank you for sharing that about the house of the Bibasim. How about you, Nina?
Yes, well, I would say in terms of the people we met in connection with the partnership, it was meeting the families of the reservists, both at the Ha'ogen Center, as well as people like Hadassah Ben Ari and others, because it really it took the headlines we hear in the news, and it really gave us a sense of the human cost of everything that is going on. How do you put food on the table when your partner's been deployed for 250 days? I mean, 250 days, that's the size of my vitamin jar. I mean, I can't even, it's so hard to feel what those numbers truly mean. And that's where those conversations were so important. What is it like when all hell is breaking loose and your jobs may still be in jeopardy? What do you do then? How do you create stability for your children when you've been living in a hotel for the last 9 months? What does that mean in terms of their education, their sense of safety, their ability to connect with friends? And so part of again, that's some of the darker, as Karen said, there's darkness and there's light. That's some of the darker, scarier things that you don't, or I wasn't thinking about when I was reading the headlines. But the beauty is actually seeing how many people came together in community to say, all right, you are new here because you've just had to be, you've had to be evacuated. Here's food. Here's a bed. Here are places for your children. Here is a place where you, the wives and mothers, can have time to yourselves to process, to be with other women who are now mother and father and caretaker of everything, and have a few moments of normalcy. Even things like let's have a movie night on the lawn. Things that I recognize I so take for granted here in the United States, and how different it is to be living in a world where at any moment you could have missiles flying over. So I think it truly is miraculous, the way that ability to be there for each other, to be there for strangers who come in, and integrate people is absolutely amazing, and so inspiring to see. This is how wonderful human beings can be.
Exactly. The missiles from Iran, 10 days ago, I think it's 12 days ago. It's like in one day it ended, and we feel like we need to get back to normal. But my two small children still want to sleep in the mamad. So yeah, it's something that stays. And even though in Hadera area we didn't have that many alarms as in the center of Israel, but yeah, like you said, nothing is, you can take, in any second, something can change your life here.
Absolutely. And how connected, so what if you're up in Hadera? You probably know 30 people who are in the south or in the north. I mean, that's again, the sense of connection and community, because Israel's only the size of New Jersey, as opposed to, I've got a brother who lives on the West Coast, thousands of miles away. It really is a very different feeling of family.
I would like to hear from you all about the experience you had in our partnership. What one thing that you take from you, from our region, from your visit in our region?
We did the EDUT. I know I might pronounce it EDUT 710 project. We met with Itai Kenter. He did the testimonials from the victims. That one was very touching. And then when we were doing, like I said before, with the community, packaging food and helping out and all that, I forgot what farm we were at, but we were doing the cucumbers and picking tomatoes. And the gentleman said that he had to get rid of some of the greenhouses because a lot of his helpers were taken away. but he said that his 12-year-old son every day will come, go to school, come, drop his bag off, and then start working because they don't have the extra help. And that was very, very like surprising. The other thing is when we went to Ofakim, we heard some stories, and then we passed Rachel's house, the one who was buying time for her and her husband and baking cookies. That right there, that was like here. And the other thing is that when the extra days I was there, it was my grandfather's English yurt site, and I'm BRCA1 positive, and I got a tattoo by an Israeli artist on his anniversary. So it was very memorable. So.
Thank you. Wow, it's amazing what you did here. You know, one of the first mission that came here after October 7th from our communities, we sat with the teens, and one of the people said that before October 7th, Israel was the plan B. He felt that Israel is the plan B if something will happen. And after October 7th, he feels that there is no plan B anymore. So I'm wondering if you feel, you know, the after you've been here and after what happened in October 7th, it's different for you as a Jew in the diaspora, in your communities, you feel different?
Yes, very much so. A lot of people in my community, they won't wear, like, they're afraid to wear the IDF shirts. They're afraid to wear anything Israeli because of the anti-Semitism, the Free Palestine everywhere. I have a lot of Jewish stuff and Israeli stuff in my office, and, you know, I'm not afraid, you know. But there is you can see a big difference since October 7th. There's a lot more security. There's people, like, we would always have like a big Hanukkah party. My husband didn't want us to have it, but we did this past year, but for me, we have a yellow chair, it's in, we do it in memory and in honor of them, but we can't be afraid. We have to stand up and speak out. So.
Yeah, and I'll say in Charleston, we've actually been very fortunate. The local law enforcement has been hugely supportive of the Charleston Jewish community. There have been a lot of meetings and discussions, and it may be that we don't have a very large Muslim population here in Charleston, and also just maybe the nature of the universities here, it's not lending themselves to the kinds of students who are going to be out there saying free Palestine. So I have been very much aware of how I can breathe easily here in Charleston. But every day I'm tuned into the news from New York because, hey, that's where I'm from. I have a brother who lives there with his 2 children. And you just don't know what to do. And it's so infuriating to see the level of ignorance, the way activism and social action is being skewed. Since October 7th, we actually had an unveiling of additions to our Holocaust memorial here in Charleston for additional signage, because it is Charleston is one of the oldest Jewish communities in the country. But I think in terms of Israel being a plan B, even my husband, who's Irish, he's like, if you told me we were going to Belfast in the 70s, I'd say, no, it's a war zone. Why are we going to Israel? And I said, because I have to do this. I don't care how scared I am. It's my family. I have to go see them. And that was a calling. That's why that trip was so important for me to go. And I will say we felt so much safer than we thought we would. It was really surprising. I think part of it was the benefit of traveling with a group. So we weren't completely on our own. But now that we know more people who are there, I mean, our Shabbat dinners were, just beyond and beyond. So welcoming. I'm still in touch with our host family. Again, it's once again, when you sit panim al panim, face to face, it makes we're human beings, and we're trying to make the best of difficult situations. And that's where Israel's a beautiful example.
I want to say I have been active for over 50 years in the progressive community wherever I have lived. And the progressive community here left me behind. And it's been a really difficult struggle. And I've lost a lot of friends. I have sat with people and talked and history, and there is a strong Muslim community here, and there's also a community of Farrakhan supporters. So that makes it really difficult. And I have sat with them. It's been a struggle. And I will say that when I did go to Israel, and my son has been several times, but when I went this time, he was really, I mean, I had to call home every day, because it's really funny. Usually it's the other way around, right? Why are you going? Why are you going now? Those kinds of questions. But I really felt such a strong need to do it because of the backlash that I was facing here in the progressive community. And I went to churches, I went to Democratic Club meetings, I went to a lot of places, and I spoke. I had one article in the newspaper and a few other articles written other places, and I, posting online, whatever. And I was very often attacked, and I had a lot of trouble. But I said, all of you be damned. This is what I think. This is what I say. This is what I write, and so that's it. But it was hard, and I think, Nina, you said earlier about supporting Jewish causes. All the other things that I had done for so many years and supported so many people who turned around and just stabbed me in the back. It was and it still is, very, very difficult time for me because of that.
So if any of your community members will come to you and says, "Oh, I heard you've been in Israel after October 7th, and I'm thinking about going."
Yeah, I would tell them, do not double think it. Even though it's during a war or not, that's when you need to be there. You need to be there for our family, our people.
That's all great to hear. I have to say, it's sitting here and hearing this, it's
yeah, and the hardest thing was not realizing the time before, like with the airspace, that the people that the Israeli Scout family that took me, we went 30 minutes early, and thank goodness we did. And he made sure that I got through customs and everything. He knew what was going on. But it was just like, oh my gosh. And I didn't know if I was going to see my family back in the US. And I felt I was numb, because what if my family in Israel, because I've dealt with over 200 families, over the years, what if something happens to them? And we've already lost like 15 out of those 270 kids that I've dealt with, either from October 7th or on the front line. So that was hard for me leaving.
I'm sorry, Maya.
Yeah.
Can I ask, in terms of P2G, what do you need most from the Jewish communities here in the South? Because we're focused right now on the Southeast United States. What's one step for anyone listening to the podcast? What is one step we can all take to either support P2G, support Israel, become more involved? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that in terms of P2G, the thing is to keep in touch. and participate and be in the partnership project. It's the thing that makes us one, is to take part. And I know that a lot of people that came to those missions didn't know about the partnership before. They knew about the federation, what the federation do, but the partnership is a very specific thing that there is in the federation organization. So I guess just make people know that we are here and we are existing, and that we do have those projects that wanted to do the connection, the one-to-one connection to the people, build those bridges. Because when I look at this of what we do here, I always look on a bridge. We are on the one side of the bridge and our partners on the other hand, and the thing is to get together and come to the middle and learn about each other and get to know each other, and just communicate. That's the thing. Just talk to each other and see and know that we are there. Choose one word, only one. I know it's hard, but one that will describe the journey that you did here. Just if it's hard in one word, take 2 or 3. But
I can say it was painful but heartwarming. So there's 3 words.
I will use the words new definition of family.
Okay, so mine's going to be a little bit longer than that. Unbelievable, inspirational, moving, touching, a dream come true, being able to finally go to Israel. But it was even more meaningful for me, not just going as a first time, but doing a mission, being able to give back, be able to help my family, and see the heartache and damage that is done.
Thank you for sharing this with me. And I want to thank the 3 of you that you came here today and took the time and share your stories. And thank you for our listeners that were here with us for this amazing episode.
We'd like to thank our local Jewish federations. Partnership Together, or P2G, is an initiative of the Jewish Agency for Israel, made possible through generous gifts to your local Jewish federation. To learn more about P2G, reach out to your local federation.